Hello, my name is Mason Irby, and in this presentation I'm going to be discussing three main ideas from my thought experiment that I think can be useful and have a huge impact on modern firms today. The three that I'm going to be discussing, one is going to be from Martinson's video, one is going to be from The World is Flat, a speech by Tom Friedman, and one is going to be from Sargent's speech, the graduation speech. The first one by Martinson that I want to discuss is how the exponential increase of money relates to the exponential increase in debt. And it's something that he points out that the exponential increase in debt can happen infinitely. I can borrow from someone who in turn borrows from a third party that borrows from me, and that triangle can keep going and going and going, and it theoretically could never stop. And so debt could keep rising infinitely, but the supply of money cannot. Is a finite, though we will be able to make a lot of it. It is a finite level that it can stop at. Money can only be worth so much, and the more that we print and the more that we use, what that $1 is worth is going to keep going lower and lower. So it's a hole that we're digging ourselves in, and I think it can be used in a big way. That thought process all around us in our individual lives and in firms also, knowing that debt is going to keep rising, and so the more that we can keep ourselves out of debt, that dollar that we have is going to be worth a lot more. Tom Friedman talks about embracing globalization all throughout his speech, and I want to focus on the technology aspect of it. I think that being technologically up to date in all of our businesses is a major key, especially today, because it talks about in the speech how he talked to someone that said globalization is happening all around us and America is not ready. So I think that it's our job to be those Americans that are ready for globalization to take place, for it to continue to take place. I think that it is big for us to be as technologically advanced as possible, so that way people in other countries and even firms in the U.S. all around us aren't jumping us and taking that next step to being more able to accomplish their goals through things that are also available to us. We'll need to be behind that curve. In Sargent's graduation speech, he talks about how many things are desirable, but they're not necessarily feasible. And I think that's a big lesson to be learned. Yes, there are a lot of things that are desirable in life. There are a lot of things that are desirable from an individual standpoint and from a business's standpoint. Everyone wants to be a Fortune 500 company. Everybody wants to make six figures. But for a startup tech company in a garage, is it necessarily feasible to be a Fortune 500 company? Should that be a 5-year goal? I don't think so. Could it be a long-term goal? Most definitely. And I'm a firm believer in shooting for the stars to achieve your dreams. But I don't necessarily think that you should have outlandish goals, especially in the short term. I think that it does a lot more good to have very realistic short-term goals that will help you achieve those big long-term dreams that you may have. All these three things can definitely come together in a firm. You know, I talked about goals. I talked about the exponential increase of debt and money, and I talked about being ready for globalization through technology. These are all mindsets. These are all things that we have to have in the back of our mind, even in the front of our mind as we go through daily operations in a firm. We can use these things to put our company at the forefront when it comes to making decisions, when it comes to competing daily in the market. by having these goals that are not just desirable but also feasible, we can beat debt. We can daily make conscious decisions to lower our debt. We can daily make decisions to be better at technology and to be better at globalization and embracing change in today's culture. And all these things collectively will take us to the place that we want to be as a business. Thank you.